Hey everyone, it's Jen Foster here with the Elite Publishing Podcast. I'm really excited today to interview one of our authors, Brent John Larsen, who just released the book, You Make My Heart Giggle. We're really excited to interview him and find out more about how he wrote the book and the process of publishing and writing. Welcome. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Great. Tell us a little bit about why you wanted to write this book.
It's an interesting story. About 12 years ago, I was just living a normal life, normal day, and I went into cardiac arrest.
Oh, wow.
So my heart stopped, it just quit, and it was caused by what they refer to as cardiomyopathy, which is weak heart muscle. So it was in the heart, just quit working. It just said, "We're done, we're through." And one of my sons was nearby. He performed CPR until the paramedics came. And because the heart muscle was so weak, it was hard to get the heart going again. They took me to the hospital, and that's where I woke up and wondering, where in the world am I? And
Mm-hmm.
the cardiologist on site that was on call there that day, he told me as I was being discharged, he said, you're very fortunate because in the last year I've had 15 people that made it alive to the hospital with your condition, the same symptoms you had, and you're the only one that walked out.
Wow.
So he said, your chance to survive was about 1%. My oldest son asked me, he said, why do you think you didn't die, Dad? And,
Yeah.
and kind of an interesting question. I thought about that, and it was about a year later I finally came to at least one answer, and that's my father was an educator to teach, and he loved people. He loved being around young people, and he taught a lot of lessons through little sayings that he would come up with, and some of them were known by everybody. Others
Mm-hmm.
are ones that some people have never heard of before, but these little sayings taught a lesson. And that's the way he would teach at home. He was one that brought his work home with him, like little sayings, heart never won fair maiden. And it was,
Mm-hmm.
what in the world does that mean? And then he would teach us what it meant. And so each time he didn't have to reteach it, he would simply say, son, faint heart never won fair maiden. Or take care of the corners and the middle will take care of itself. What I hated the most was his little saying that was message to Garcia. That meant was, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how it's going to be done. I have no clue, but you have the assignment. Find a way to do it. And I
Mm-hmm.
hated Garcia growing up because every time he said it, it was, oh boy, this is going to be hard.
Right.
And I thought, when I get married, there's no way, if I ever have kids, there's no way I'm ever going to torture them with message to Garcia. When my kids were old enough to understand what it meant, he came back. And now my kids hate Garcia. But all these little lessons he taught had wonderful motivational direction to them. Importance of integrity, the having courage, education, and learning. His sayings was, until your doings catch up with your knowings, they ain't got time for new learnings. And that was a quote from a man he had met one time who refused to learn anything new, saying, until what I've done catches up with what I know, I'm not going to learn anything new. So if we got a little lazy in our studies, he would just say, okay, son, until your doings. Okay, I know, Dad.
Yeah.
So my knowings. And so all these lessons I realized would be lost to everyone because I was the one that learned them. And when he passed away, he had never written any of it down. And I thought, I need to record these for my children, my grandchildren, for anyone else that might benefit from them. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's where I started the journey thinking, okay, this is what I'm to do, is to write this book about my father, his teachings, which I then referred to as Dadisms, and the lessons he taught and what he was trying to pass on to his children and his grandchildren and future generations. I've been working on it for about 10 years. I've been a little
Yeah,
fearful
long time.
of finishing it because I thought once I get it done, then my purpose in being here is gone. So I thought of leaving the last chapter not quite finished, but I went ahead.
I think that's great that you have it published, and now you have the exciting feat of getting it out there and sharing it, right? Getting the book into the hands of all the people, right?
It's been an exciting journey. It's been one I
Yeah.
had no idea what I was getting into.
So let's talk a little bit about you writing it. So it took you 10 years. So did you write it traditionally in longhand? Did you sit down and write things out, or did you type it?
I used a computer, so I just typed it, mostly because it was easy to delete and autocorrect and check my spelling and everything else. But then I'd rewrite and then I'd set it aside and let it simmer for a couple of months and then go back and go back into it. It's interesting.
Mhm.
You write something, you write it from the perspective of your viewpoint. You
Mhm.
understand what's going on, and sometimes you miss important details that others, when they read it, are going to go, I have no idea what he's talking about. And so letting it sit for a couple of months, I'd come back and even ask myself, I have no clue
Yeah.
where I was headed with this. So
Yeah.
then you rewrite and re edit. So
So it sounds like it was a long process, but we have a really great final result. I really think your book is unique because it has not only your dadisms and the lessons from your dad, but then you have a historical story to go with it.
I do. My major was history at the University of Utah. I taught school, I taught high school for a couple of years. Loved teaching, but just couldn't afford to be a teacher. So I left that
Yeah.
to go work for Pfizer Pharmaceutical and was bored to tears sitting in doctors' offices and visiting hospitals. So I left that and started my own company, construction company, knowing zero about construction, but it's something I wanted to try. I never wanted to end my life saying, what if? So
Yeah.
we did the what if, and years later, it's kind of I don't know if that was the best decision or not, but it's been an interesting journey, a great journey.
It's awesome.
Anyway, I sorry I
Yeah.
got offline
No, that's great. That's really good. So you wrote the book. What made you decide to self-publish or hire us as a boutique publisher instead of going a traditional route?
there. Number one is I'm in a field in which I have no expertise at all. I know absolutely nothing, and I had contacted people I knew that had written books, and one of them gave me a publishing company. So you contact this publishing company in Florida, and so I did. Really became discouraged with that because it was what's your target audience, when you want to do it, and how are you going to do it, and all these questions that I really didn't have answers to. And they finally, the company, nothing, I won't mention the company because I don't want to badmouth them. They're a great company. They sent me like a 40-page questionnaire and said, here, fill this out and then send it back. And it's, this isn't what
Oh,
I
40
want.
pages.
I just want a few answers, please.
Yeah.
And I had no idea where to go, what to do, when to do it, how to do it. I had nothing but questions. And I was talking to a good friend of mine, Jeff, who had published a book. And I said, Jeff, what did you do to get that book on the market? I went with Elite Online Publishing. That it was the smartest decision I ever made. They took me through the entire process, told me what I needed to do and when I needed to do it and how to do it. And so I gave you folks a call, and it has been a life changer. Best thing I ever did was to call.
Good.
You've walked me through every step of the way. I have no idea where I'm going with this. Here's what you need to do next, and now do this,
Yeah.
and we'll get this done, and then we'll get this done, and then here's our target date and encouragement to move on. Let's not set it aside. Let's get it published. And I would recommend no hesitation, 100%. If anyone was writing a book, that'd be
Thank you.
it'd be silly not to go with you folks. I mean, it just has it made it so much stress off my shoulders, and a lot of confusion in life comes just not knowing, and knowing what you're doing and how to do it has been it's been a delightful experience for me. I've loved it, and
That's great. It's been out a month or so, not quite a month yet. And you did hit bestseller, international bestseller, which is great. We have submitted it to a few book awards, so we're hoping to get a couple of awards for your book so you can have an award-winning book as well. And the audiobook's coming out soon. So you kind of have a lot going on. Tell us a little bit about how else you're marketing it or advertising. We talked a little in the green room about what you were doing with some new books you just ordered, 50 books. What are you going to do with those books?
networking is a big thing for me. The business I have, word of mouth is imperative. In fact, for 40 years, I've had this company I started and Advanced Systems Construction. And I don't even have a web page for that company because everything I do is word of mouth. And we
Mhm.
have more work than we can handle because people telling other people telling other people. And so number one is finding people that and having them share it with others. I've been surprised when we first put the book out there on the first day. I contacted about 20 people and they put it on their face page, Facebook. Is it Facebook? I am so technically challenged. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's Facebook
Okay.
or Instagram. They could have put it on Instagram,
I
but
think
Facebook is the main one.
I believe they did both, and it has been absolutely amazing the response that has come from that because they put it out there, and then other people read it, and other people read it, and so word of mouth is a big thing for me. I've developed a web page, and we're working on an Instagram and a Facebook page also. Here's an example.
Mhm.
I gave it to Liz, my daughter. I gave her the book the day it came out,
Mhm.
and she sent it out. She sent out a message to all her friends. And this is what one said, and you probably have to edit this a little. Liz, I've loved reading your dad's book. Your grandpa is a badass. Sorry. When I left off, he had just volunteered to go ashore on the beaches of Saipan, World War II. And he volunteered even though the team before him was completely annihilated. That kind of bravery blows my mind. Please let your dad know I have a hard time putting his book down. It is so great. And I know Kurt has bought it too. So, you read that, it gives you encouragement that maybe it isn't just more than a doorstop.
Yeah, I think that's great. And the reviews I think are coming in. I see a lot of reviews. The book is really amazing. And the history and the details that you have in there, I just love the way you write. And when I was reading it, I couldn't put it down either.
If it can just help one person, I had someone call me yesterday and said, I've been so discouraged. I'm dealing with so many challenges in life. I feel absolutely overwhelmed. And I read chapter 5 in your book. It's a cinch by the inch, it's a trial by the month. When you said in that chapter, maybe only take 1 week at a time or a day at a time, it may only be 1 hour at a time, or maybe you just get through the next 10 minutes. That's all.
Mhm.
And she said, I'm up to an hour. I do 10 minutes, and now I'm on my hour. And that has been a great blessing to me. So I thought, okay, one person, good. Book accomplished what I set it out to be meant.
Yeah, I like that. And I remember growing up and hearing a cinch by the inch.
Yeah,
I remember hearing that. But the way you describe it in the book, it is really just, a little bit at a time.
a little bit at a
Yeah.
time. And the historical on that chapter is the building of the Transcontinental Railroad. I talk about the construction of the railroad and what it took and how immense that project was. And it's in entirety, it's overwhelming.
Mm,
If you just take it one railroad tie at a time, one spike, just man, eventually you're across the country.
yeah. Yeah, and I've been to that here in Utah is the Promontory Point where they two railroads meet. So
Yeah,
I've been there. It's pretty cool.
it is. But I just tried to pick fun little historical vignettes that exemplify the principle Dad was trying to teach. In education, it's the one on Tell My Doings, Catch Up with My Knowns about learning. I use the Apollo program as an example because in little under 7 years, they went from nothing to putting a man on the moon, and the learning and education, the discovery of how to do things and to understand was immense. It's unparalleled. So I use that story to exemplify what I was, what Dad was trying to teach.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a great book that really gives a lot of lessons. I know for me, just reading it helped me realize, we have it really easy. Nowadays, we have it pretty easy. And
We
there was
do.
a lot of things that the people before us that came before us did so that we could have it easy today. Just that little underlying part in almost every story has been really good for me. So,
Each chapter stands on its own. It's not a continuous progression of ideas. Each one is independent of itself, teaching a separate principle.
yeah. What surprised you most about having your book published? Like now that it was published and hit bestseller, like what you surprised you the most?
The people would actually read it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been surprised at how many have come back and said they have enjoyed it. I thought it's okay, corny
Yeah.
book or silly or yeah, whatever. I've been surprised at how many people have come up to me and just said, "Hey, I love reading it," and I've told my kids they've got to read it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed all the facts and things that I didn't know before. So just little things in there that I was like, "Oh, I didn't know that is why people say it that way," or you know, different things like that, or just the stats of each story, knowing the details. It was cool for me to read all of that. So, because of your book, what would you say now that your book's out and you took the action to get it published? What would you say because of my book, dot, dot? Like, what has happened since your book's been out?
I've been motivated to write another one.
Okay. Awesome.
It's like that worked out a lot better than I ever thought it would. And I'm not now, having gone through it once. And the funny thing is, I get the title before I get the book. Book or didn't write this book, and then the title came first. And it
Mm,
came from a little saying from my grandson who gave me a little letter, and I describe it in the introduction, but he handed me a little card he had made that said, "I love coming to Grandpa's house because you make my heart giggle." I
mhm.
thought, what a fun way to say you make me happy.
Yeah.
You make me joyful. You make my heart giggle. So the actual title was the first thing I started with, the importance of the heart in everything we do. And
Yeah.
so the next one is called Momentum or Monumental, one of the two, Momentum or
Mhm.
my historical background. I want to give the backstory to some of these great monuments that we pass by and see, no
Mhm.
idea why they're there.
Yeah.
Washington, D.C. is the city of monuments. And so many things we see, even in little towns, you have a monument and people pass by and, oh, yeah, I've seen that 100 times, but I have no idea why it's there. It's, whether it be a statue or a painting or a work of art or whatever.
Sometimes it's a building. I know my hometown, there's a building that's taller than any other building that my grandfather actually built with his dad. And it's the tallest building in the town. So it's kind of a monument to the town.
It is. And there's a story behind it that you would find fascinating. The back.
Maybe the tabernacle's actually taller. I was just thinking. They also built the tabernacle, the church there. That we called it the tabernacle because it had an organ in it, but
Oh,
it was just a church. But that steeple might be a tiny bit taller. I don't know for sure. I'd have to measure
we'll
than
go up
the
and cut
building.
it. We can go up and cut it down an inch or two
Yeah, there,
to
yeah.
put it in second place.
Let's wrap up by you telling the new authors out there that are kind of procrastinating and not getting their book out. What advice would you give them?
Number one is to give you a call. Absolutely. First thing I'd say, get rid of the worry, the fear, the confusion. We stress a lot in life because of the unknown. And once we know something, how to do it, or my wife's a great list maker. Every day she makes lists so that she knows what she needs to do for the day. And then she doesn't have to continue to remember it or stress over it or worry. It's there and you check it off. And for authors out there that are putting it off and waiting, I would say, don't wait.
Mhm.
There's no better time than today. And with me, it's every morning I get up, I am so grateful that I have another day. Today is a pacemaker and a defibrillator to keep me alive. And so every day I'm excited
Mhm.
because the sun came up and the bees are out there and the flowers. And I've got 5 little containers in the backyard for hummingbirds. And
Oh,
people think
fun.
I'm nuts, but I just love seeing them come in and feed there.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for every single day. And so don't procrastinate and wait. There's no time like the present. And you just need to know where you're headed. And once you know how to do that, then you're on your way. And the encouragement you've given has motivated me. You've given me deadlines. Say, okay, by next Friday, why don't you get this done? And so then it's, okay, now I have someone to report to, so I better get it done. It's like in school, we never wrote the essay or completed the assignment until the night before most of the time.
That's true.
And once we got it done, it was, wow, I wish I would have done that earlier. I wouldn't have stressed for 2 weeks now. I'd encourage anyone to get a hold of you folks. I wouldn't go anywhere else. If a publishing company came to me, Schumann and Seister, Simon and Schumann, and said, hey, we want to work with you, I'd say, no, I'm good. I've
Yeah.
got someone who cares about me,
Mhm.
who's vested in me, and I'm not just another number. You made me feel very welcomed and accepted and important. So
Thank you. Appreciate that. Tell people where they can go to get more information, your website, and then they can get your book. They can get your book there.
I kept it very simple. You make my heart giggle.com. That's it.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, and you can follow him on Instagram at Brent John Larsen, or follow his Facebook page, You Make My Heart Giggle.
Great. Jen, I sure appreciate you more than you'll know. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you for being on the show. And all of you listeners out there, if you'll please subscribe and like this podcast and share it with someone who you know it will benefit, and they can get the book, You Make My Heart Giggle, and share it with those people that they want to share it with as well.
Thanks a million.
Have a great day, everyone.
Hey, are you looking to increase your revenue, build credibility, and elevate your brand? This podcast is brought to you by Elite Online Publishing, an innovative publishing and full-spectrum marketing company. They will publish and market your book to make it a #1 bestseller. Becoming an author is the best way to market your business. So contact them at eliteonlinepublishing.com today. All of their authors become #1 bestsellers.